Very good evening, everyone. It's indeed an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the IRE Talks. This is Professor Guru Prasad. I am truly excited to host this webinar on the IRE Talks, which is a platform that brings together brilliant minds sharing stories of innovation, learning from some of the best in the industry. Well, IRE stands for Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship. I would say this is a flagship program of the GIBS Business School. And today I have my good friend from Italy, Professor Valerio Mancini, who is also, I would say, an academician, a researcher, as a director of Research Center at Rome Business School, adjunct faculty at Rome Business School. I'm indeed grateful to have have him today, and it was me who connected with him maybe a couple of weeks back, and yeah, I'm so happy that he has accepted the invitation to be a part of this platform. Today, he's going to speak on the topic, global entrepreneurship, navigating opportunities in a changing world. I would say this is, this is the era of globalization. And this has come in the right time when we talk about entrepreneurship, not just within the context of the Indian scenario, but also the global perspective of this. And I don't think there could be anyone better than Professor Mancini. For all the audiences out here, a quick overview about our business school. We are a pioneering business school, I would say, from the management domain in Bangalore, Karnataka, India. We've been here since the last 11 years right now, and I'm so happy to say that we are having a diverse batch of students, over 900 students, I would say, from all parts of India, from northern to the southern part of India. We have a beautiful, diverse mix. And we also have our own expansion plans. Very soon, we'll be going to our new campuses, coming up with loads of new programs in the coming days. And well, the IRE, the flagship program I just mentioned a while ago, stands for Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship, wherein I believe, and you agree to the fact that these days, a lot of students are inclined towards getting into their own business. Or I would say, I have a lot of students with me who come up with an entrepreneurial mindset. So we have understood this very seriously, and we have floated a program like this, which exclusively talks about the entrepreneurial journey, entrepreneurial mindsets of many. So IRE platform, online platform, is one such event where we have invited many thought leaders, business experts, and academicians who have delivered the sessions on various numerous topics. And today, I'm so happy that Professor Mancini has accepted the invitation to talk about this, which is very, very niche. Global entrepreneurship, navigating opportunities in a changing world. On behalf of all my audience out here, I extend my heartfelt welcome to Professor Mancini. Welcome, sir. Over to you now. And yes, I just want to add one more point. Any students out here want to have any questions, please note, I'll take it at the end. You can use your chat boxes and drop in your questions to me, and I will take with Professor Mancini at the end of the session. Mancini, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Guru Prasad. Sorry for my pronunciation. You perfectly...
You spell it right.
Okay, thank you. You perfectly pronounce my name that many people pronounce in a different way, but it's a Mancini. It's okay. It's a very typical Italian name, particularly surname, because in Italy we have a lot of surname with Ini, Mancini is also famous for football, was the trainer of Italy.
I know. I'm a big fan of the Italian football club.
That's great. That's great. We lost, unfortunately. We draw. Yes, 2 days ago with Germany. Was a very important team for us.
Juventus happens to be my favorite club.
Is my club. You can see that is my club. I have many gadgets of it. But also I am a brand ambassador for a football team. Is L'Aquila. Is from my hometown, and one of the owner of this team.
Wow.
He's in a fourth division. Is one of my passion, the sport management. So I'm going to give some information about me. Then I'm going to share you. I prepare a presentation.
Yes.
Particularly related because talking about global entrepreneurship is talking about a very huge topic. Something that I'm going to do in this time that we have, unfortunately, I only have 50 minutes because then I have class at 1:30 here in Italy. As I mentioned before, it's a very beautiful sunny day in Rome, and I will waiting for you as soon as possible to host in our beautiful campus in Rome Business School.
Absolutely.
So something that I want to explore is the concept of the future of jobs. So the global entrepreneurship related to innovation and the new era, also connected with artificial intelligence, automation, and the concept of sustainability. I'm going to present myself and also the research center that I'm working for. If you permit me, I'm going to share a very brief presentation. I don't know if you have, this is not the presentation. It's here. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
I share. Okay. So about me, my name is, as I mentioned, Valerio Mancini. I am professor in Rome Business School and other institution. I also professor of at Faculty Economy at Sapienza University in Rome. And I'm the director in Rome Business School of our research center. In the past, I worked many years. You can see in the picture our beautiful campus in the city center of Rome. In the past, I had the opportunity to work with different international organizations. I was involved in a project with the UNODC, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Colombia, Bogota. And then I worked many years also in South America for different sectors. I was involved in a project with the OECD, is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development that is based in Paris. And I also work as a researcher for a sports sector. My last book that was translated in Spanish, Catalan, and English is Football and Geopolitics. I can say, I don't like to say expert, I'm very passionate on geopolitics, and particularly the relationship in the last year between sport, geopolitics, and geoeconomics. I am a part of the editorial board of different business journals in Cyprus, in Italy, in Turkey, and now I hope also in the future in India. It's a country that I never visited, but I would like to visit very soon. Absolutely. So, yes, about our research center, we have a research center that is very open to publication. We promote the production and distribution of knowledge with the academic, professional, and the social system. The center, our research center is focused on both scientific and informational research. Particularly, I am the director of the Divulgative Research Center, and the role is to share our master. We have more than 68, now 70 this year. We reach different master. The idea is to identify the most innovative and effective solution in the field of management, entrepreneurship, and economic social phenomena. Our research center is committed to producing documents that are useful for companies, but also for the academic community. We are very open for the divulgation and the society as a whole, that is our most important stakeholder. Rome is the school to support people and organizations in successful facilitating and facing the challenging of global competitiveness, offering theoretical, methodological, and empirical perspective. Today, we talk about, particularly in my presentation, I'm going to talk more about innovation and the importance of human capital and enterprise and future of jobs. You are from India. India is the most populated country in the world. It's part of the BRICS and is in November 2022 passed China in terms of population. And this is meaning that you are the future of this beautiful planet because not only in terms of population, but also in terms of national branding and the future growth of competition, you will be the protagonist. So you have a great challenge, a great responsibility. Also, you as a professor, as a teacher, as a person involved in the training sector, because you are creating the future better manager for this, to have a better world. So, Professor Guru, you have a bigger responsibility compared to me. I'm joking, but we are both in the same responsibility level. Yeah. So we are going to talk about work people, the concept of new leadership and the importance of skills. This is in Italian, our last report about people and work and the importance of leadership, engagement, and competencies to the well-being. We start with the information that we receive from the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum report shares, the World Economic Forum is the most important organization involved to identify the future challenges of economy, and particularly the future challenges in this report, future jobs of the world of jobs, the future of world of jobs by 2030, following the agenda of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We know that, for example, undergraduate course from the top university and business school multiply the effect of wage, increase salary, and training professional to up to 5% times during the 5 years of graduation. And we know also from the World Economic Forum report that around 50% of employers recognize that the vast majority of professionals who reach high professional position have completed a postgraduate degree. So the world of education is very well connected, more than the past, with the future of jobs. In some sector, for example, in particularly entrepreneurship, so your sector, because you are studying too also in a business school, having an MBA, a Master in Business Administration degree is almost a guarantee of success, access, and successful in the jobs market. For example, the postgraduate degree was what we provide in Rome Business School and in your GIBS Business School is therefore increasing appreciate. In general, 30% of job vacancies for managerial position require a master degree as a prerequisite. So we know now that for the future workers, soft skill will count a lot more than the past, as much more or specific knowledge. This is also because many of current tasks will be carried out by the automated system. That is not just AI. We're going to see different systems equipped with particularly artificial intelligence that is the protagonist of the future of jobs of our planet. Some information about my country, because this report was involved in the country. For example, in Italy, we have a disease of educational, I use this strong term because it's a very strong situation, very hard situation. Disease of our education and economic system is characterized by different elements. For example, we have a high level of youth employment rate. For example, many people were in early school leaving to around 20% of students. And compared with the number in India, is not too much, but 120,000 people would drop out school every year. And this is very higher than the European average, that is 50%. In Italy, we have around 20%. And then high number of young people that not study and not work, the famous NEET, NIIT, which reached 2.2 million. And this represent the highest percentage in Europe. Also, we have a big division in Italy between North and South. The south of the country is characterized with high level of unemployment, particularly some regions like Calabria, Sicily, and Sardinia, the islands, that are characterized more the South Mediterranean of Italy to this disease, to be characterized as countries, the regions that are low level of education. So school dropout is growing a lot. This is, I don't go into share too much numbers about Italy, but just to know that from 1995 to today, every year, the Italian high school rates lost number of students ranging between 215,000 and 120,000 units. This is a huge number. Starting with the example of Italy, I'm going to talk about something very important for the future of entrepreneurship and global innovation. And it's the T-shaped model. This T-shaped model is a super important model to understand the skills that we will need for the future of jobs. In Rome Business School, we presented this employment report. I really recommend to take a look to it. The employment report is about also the information about the future of job, because we are a business school and we have the right and we have the responsibility also to share information about what our students have to focalize attention in terms of skills to be part of the future entrepreneurship. As we mentioned, Italy, the biggest problem that we have in our country, is the training that is not too much focused in the STIM subjects. That I know that in India, for what I know and for what I study, you are very strong in this kind of subjects.
Yes.
STIM we're talking about scientific, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes.
We are too much focused maybe in humanitarian, that unfortunately also for me, that I graduated in humanities, is not the future of jobs. But now I'm not so young, so I can maintain I'm young, but not too much. So for me, it's not so a problem, but for the future generation, these represent a huge challenge. And we not too much investment in this sector. So it's decisive to invest in this so-called T-shaped training model. This is a model that T is the figure that have a very deep vertical line, longer than the other, and a solid that defines the professionalism of the person. For example, engineer, orthopedist, okay, oneologist, doctor, and another upper horizontal line that allows the person to work in different roles and contexts. In this case, this T, the horizontal line, represent particularly the flexibility and the soft skills. And merging these two essential concepts of multidisciplinarity and multiculturalism. Multiculturalism and multidisciplinarity is a fundamental part of the future of job, and particularly the soft skill. Remember, two fundamental concepts, multidisciplinarity and multiculturalism. So it will be essential, so a pillar for the future of jobs, for the future skill, to focus the future on three characteristics of the modern training. We have the basic training, the infinity training, and the multidisciplinary, the T model. It is clear, a very strong line, deep line for vertical expertise, for example, hard skills like mathematics, informatics, orthopedic, medicine, and a basic training model, the T multidisciplinary model. We know that by this year, for the future of jobs of World Economic Forum, by 2025, so at the end of this year, automation will involve 85 million jobs in 15 sectors, and also this is covered 26 economies. And this is a negative perspective, but also positive. We're going to see why. 50% of the existing profiles will disappear completely. This is represent a negative aspect, particularly for the old generation and for some sector of job, but a great opportunity for new coming years. Because it is true that automation will replace 85 million jobs, but it's also true that we will have 97 million new jobs, particularly in the assistance economy, and particularly later for the target that is the silver economy, aged people, because our life is longer, particularly in some countries with a high level of quality of life, like Italy. Italy is the second most aged country in the world. So our population is very old. For many, it's negative element, but it's meaning that the quality of life is very high, like the case of Japan, the case of France, and other countries that have same level of quality of life compared to Italy. And new jobs in assistance economy, artificial intelligence that, as I mentioned since the beginning, it is and it will be the protagonist of the future of jobs, and also the content creation, particularly in social media. By 2025, we mentioned 97 million new positions will arise in the assistance economy, technology industries, for the fourth industrial revolution that we are living in these years. But I mentioned artificial intelligence, content creation, also green economy. One of the most requested profile that we have today in Italy, but also I know in India and many economies, is the sustainability manager. So a person that is expert in the green economy. Don't talk just necessarily about environment. We also talk about social and governance, the ESG expert, environmental, social, and governance elements. But also, again, engineering and cloud computing, particularly data science, okay, for future of jobs, World Economic Forum. Also, the World Economic Forum shared with us this information. In the next 15, 20 years, so by 2030, that is following the agenda of the United Nations, around 14% of existing jobs could disappear due to the automation processes, but other 32 could change dramatically. Even if they don't disappear, change dramatically. What is meaning? That we have to train a lot. We have these element that is fundamental for our daily life as a professional, the continuous learning, studying master, new PhD, new element of training. And cool management as individual mentions also are automated. Other information, over 80% of business executives are accelerating, pushing a lot, plans to digitalization work processes and implement new technology. This is another important element to invest in our future skills, future capacities. And another information, 50% of employers plan to increase the levels of automation in some role with their companies. So invest your time, invest your also your money in the automation, and particularly in a continuous learning, continuous training is a fundamental plan. In this scenario, in this panorama, in this landscape that we presented, it's very important the role of post-graduation education. This is a big investment, as I mentioned, particularly in high-tech training models. And also the focus on the soft skill is crucial. This is why, for example, in Rome Business School, we have a lot of managerial courses, a lot of courses related to what we mentioned, the soft skill part. So everyone has to know to be better manager for a better world. So despite the data confirming the effectiveness of degree, increase job opportunities, and company will increasingly require person with specialist skill. It's not enough to have a bachelor. It's not enough to have a master degree. Could be enough to have a post degree, often obtainable only through a postgraduate degree. In fact, 1 year after obtaining the master, the overall employment rate is growing for 88.6%. This is the last information that we received from World Economic Forum, and the idea that by 2025 we'll reach the 90% of employment rate for persons with post-graduation skills. And what we mentioned in our last Rome Business School employment report, we found that, for example, 40% of students found a job even before completing the study in a post-graduation. So the higher the level of training to the workforce, greater opportunities, and also they have better salary condition. Remember that the salary condition is also fundamental to your fundamental investment in the future of your family, of your kids, and the future generation. The greater the opportunities to have a better salary condition, I mentioned, especially with post-graduation study and master, particularly an MBA. From our report that we share in 2024, but the data are coming from 2023, young employees in Italy seek a work environment that they feel heard, guided by a resilient human manager. So there is also in our report a special part related to the concept of human leadership. We talk about the naked leadership, and a leader that is more and more involved in the daily process and the attention for his shareholder or her shareholder, but also stakeholder, where they can balance work and personal life, the famous balance that we mean work-life balance. That is very important for the daily life of workers and in general of a company. The most in-demand digital skills in Italy, for example, in 2023 revolve around these sectors: cybersecurity, automation, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing. So very connected with the information that we received from the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. If the 5 top skills to remain competitive in the future will be creativity, that is a soft skill, critical and analytical thinking, another soft skill, problem solving, and also skill related to the development that are hard of use of technology, including digital skills, particularly digital marketing. Also from our report, we had the opportunity to explore the situation of entrepreneurship startup in Italy that's growing a lot in the last year. We have in 2024, 60,256 new startup, more look, in 10 years ago, only 1,500. So we reported in 10 years, look, the significant impact of new startups in our country. The majority of startups are focused on the information and communication sector, 50.6% of the total. And the e-commerce and fintech, financial technology, experiencing a very significant development. In particular, in two regions, the region of Milan, Lombardia, the region of Rome, Lazio, the most important in terms of city branding, to lead the way, with Campania, the region of Naples, the third city in Italy, standing out. In Italy, also the venture capital is another sector investment, have a very significant growth in the last 10 years, and particularly a very important growth in the 2023, more than 38%, with particularly 730 new venture capital investment that represent a 47% increase from 2021 to 2022. So in the last year, we have a very important impact of increase in venture capital. Another interesting element, we receive a very important financiation after the COVID crisis, after the COVID-19 crisis. So after the pandemic, we received this National Recovery and Resiliency Plan with an important financiation from European Union, the European Next Generation Plan, that reallocated a lot of important resources, 27% of total. We talk about 220 billion of euros for the digital transition. So our country suffered for many years a problem to not be digitalized. In this plan, our strategy Digitalize Italy have important two axes. The first axis concerns the digital infrastructure and the ultra-wideband connectivity. We know that if we are more connected, if we invest in connectivity and the digitalization, our country, our economy will grow a lot and very fast. If not, our destiny is to collapse. The second focus, all intervention aimed to the digital transformation, particularly of the public administration. We create in the Italian government this department that you can find in Italian in the picture in the slides, is the Department for the Digital Transformation that is directly connected with the Presidents of Council of Ministers, so with the government of Italy. We have a new department for the digital transformation, particularly of the public administration that suffer this disease. For many years was not digitalized. So to have a look to the most relevant data that we found in our report, we know that employment grows by 41% in the last year, along with precariousness. The problem in Italy, we have in an entire population of 59 million people, over 3 million are precarious workers, mainly due to the increase of seasonal, particularly in summertime, many people that are working for tourism, that then in wintertime, they have not a job. Seasonal work, intermittent work, and intermittent contracts. So the number of fixed-term employees has been the high since 1977. This is expected that will be 10 million Italian workers in smart working by the end of 2024. The data that we received that finally was exactly around 10 millions. As I mentioned, there is an important growing in my country of startups that increasing a lot, but not growing in terms of size. More startups, but they are a lot of new startups, but not too much in terms of growing. It takes about 4,000 euros for the first year. That is a very low level. A figure that is 10 times higher than in Germany. Germany is 466. So the investment that you have to do to this startup in Italy is very hard. And for the first year, you spend too much money, and sometimes it's not so sustainable in terms of investment. Lombardy, the richest region of Italy, the region of Milan, holds the record for innovative startups in the country, around 26.8%, followed by the region of Rome, where I'm living and where I'm talking now, around 11.6%, and Campania is the third region from the city of Naples, 8.9%. For example, in 2021, after COVID, more than 85,000 workers found employment in startups. So starting to be also a very important perspective for new employees. In terms of gender, because we focus attention a lot in the gender issues, a woman is present in 42.6% of the total composition of the Italian startups. So we almost reach the 50-50%. So we always fight against totally and reduce the gender gap in the startup, particularly for very connected with innovation, because the majority of startups that women are involved are connected with innovation. The problem is the majority of startups that are created by women are related also for the food and restaurant sector, are not so much sustainable in the future of career. So this is the most relevant data from the World Economic Forum and from our report of Rome Business School, the employment report, about the future perspective of the global entrepreneurship. Apart the case of Italy, we have many elements that coming for the future. And one of that you can find in the Brand Finance is a very important ranking that gives to us the information about the most relevant impact on the future of jobs coming particularly from the entrepreneurship sector and particularly from a new innovation sector like AI. If you find the information that, for example, a company like NVIDIA is the position number 8 now in terms of ranking for the future of jobs, and will be more and more in the next year. So investing your time in data science, artificial intelligence, sustainability, and also content creation is meaning that you are investing time and in future of your career. So it's not a waste of time. It's very important to have the connection with these specific topics and this specific skill. For the moment, for my presentation, that's all. Thank you so much. This is my email also. And thank you for sharing your time with me. If you have some questions, some relevant information that you want to ask, some other elements that apart from the presentation you want to know, I will be more than happy to stay with you these minutes and sharing with you other information related our reports. As I mentioned, every year we publish, maybe I didn't mention that, we publish 14 reports related to different topics. The majority of our topics are related to the investment on the future economy. We have master on artificial intelligence, ethics in artificial intelligence. We have master degree in food and beverage sector. That is a very important sector for Italy. We have master, for example, related to the future of jobs in marketing and sales, one of the historical master in HR, human resources. Also, we have master now in branding and future economies. We have master degree also in sport and lifestyle management, in e-health, all sectors that are connected, as I mentioned before, in the future of jobs report of the World Economic Forum. Thank you for your attention. I maintain here the connection for other minutes to take care about your question. I don't know if you open the microphone or if I can see directly the question and answer.
Yeah, generally we take questions in the chat boxes, and I'll take up the questions on the students' behalf, and I'll put forward to you.
Okay, it's okay.
I was really impressed with the kind of research that you have done for this presentation. I mean, you're heading the right position. You are a director of a research center, so your presentation was absolutely filled with a lot of facts and figures. What interesting. I'm just interested to know how is the economic conditions or situation right now of Italy, and this is my question actually.
Yes, this is a very important question related to what the situation is. You know, Italy is a very traditional country, and our economy is a little bit slow compared to our economy in Europe,
right,
and also compared for sure with other economies that are very fast, like India too. The problem is, if I have to say something, I mentioned during the report, our country suffer a problem related to the too much bureaucracy, particularly in the public sector. The public sector is still maintaining the most important element for our country, and too much bureaucracy also stopped for many years the digitalization. I have to say that COVID-19 represents for us a very bad moment, but also was an opportunity to accelerate the digitalization. And digitalization is the key for a country to grow in the last years, because if the public sector is not digitalized, we cannot we cannot create competition with other economies. Now, one of the problems, to reply, Professor, to your question, is very sensitive. Now we have the problem with this trade agreement with the United States, because Italy maintains its economy thanks to the export, and export is a fundamental part of our economy. Export, particularly the most important country for us, is the United States.
Okay.
So it's also geopolitics influencing a lot economic for us, because we are finally a small economy, even if we produce a lot of excellency in automotive, the case of Ferrari, in food and beverage, the case of Ferrero, the case of Barilla, and we export in overall the world our wine, in our fashion products. We know the first brand in Italy is Gucci, position number 1, and it's very connected with our economy. Fashion industry in Italy is protected by intelligence, but unfortunately, with these geoeconomic geopolitics events, can reduce drastically our growth in the next years.
Which is the highest revenue earning sector in Italy? Which is the business which fetches highest amount of revenue there?
Yes, this is connected with our master. We create master also for the sector that are most rentable. Okay. In terms of in the last year, particularly engineering and automation are growing a lot in terms of sector, but still finance is the first. Finance and fashion management is a very important sector. Also, the food and beverage management, they have a lot of people working in this sector. Tourism management also. Italy is one of the most visited countries in the world.
That's great. Did the COVID-19 had a bad impact on Italy?
Yes, have a very bad impact in terms of people died, because as I mentioned before, the reason why also we are a very old population, and right. For sure, people with the age that are more fragile. And this is, I think, this is a reason why we had more victims compared to other countries. I think that's the reason. The other reason that we were one of the first countries that received this wave of COVID, and this is also, I think, the reason why we didn't prepare to face this emergency.
Great. Now I'll take a couple of questions from the students with your permission. One of my students wants to know the concept of remote work culture. I mean, that's quite popular right now in most of the countries, including India. What's your thought on this? What is the impact of the remote work culture on global entrepreneurship?
Yes, this is very important, because the remote work, in my opinion, is a fundamental right, and I'm very connected with the concept of work-life balance. The sectors and the companies that invest, the companies also public sector that invest many in the work-life balance, and particularly the remote working, are increasing a lot the income. That's because if you create a good place for a good environment for your employees, your company will have better performance. This is statistically proved also in Italy, but worldwide. Also, you don't need to work to stay every day in your office. You need to be productive. That's the difference. And the be productive is meaning also be connected with your company. Be part of the company. Be part of your business, of the business. If you're not happy because your boss, your leader, do not permit the remote working, maybe you need for your family, maybe you need because, look, the case of India, the distances are huge. And in my opinion, this is a great frontier that COVID spread a lot in the last year. And it's something that we experimented, that it is possible. For me, going back, like in the past, that remote working was a privilege from very less people, it will be not very smart thing. We have to invest in the future, and future meaning that you can work whenever you want. This is also reduce the impact of an environment. This reduce the impact on our cities that can be more connected with other sectors like tourism. So we don't need to go every day in the office. We can work at home, and we can perform at same level, maybe better.
The same goes in the academic industry. How about your college? I mean, you do work from home or you have to go to your institute?
But I look here. We are talking and sharing experience thanks the technology.
Right.
I'm talking with many students from different countries thanks to this platform. Now, if you have to choose, if it's better to have me in person, is better because for sure we will have also the opportunity to interchange experience and to physical presence always is better. But in the case of training, I'm agree. But in many cases, it's not necessary. For me, for my job, I perform better also as a professor when he is in person. But I have to say, this is another opportunity. It's not an alternative. You know what I mean? If we find the remote working as an alternative, this is a stupid information that we receive. The most important that we will have the opportunity to bring both. Also, if someone has the opportunity to travel abroad or to train abroad and can want to maintain the work, this is an opportunity, not an alternative.
Great. Thank you. I'll take up quickly another question. You also mentioned about it on the sustainable practices. So in India, I think not just in India, it's been a global talk right now. A lot of them are talking about sustainable practices. So, how can sustainable practices help startups to compete in the global markets? What's your views?
That's a very great question because I teach sustainability management here in Rome Business School, and in many universities. So it's my topic. I have to say that there is an economist that maybe you studied at university or at school. It's Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman is a very important economist. Is the father of the neoliberalism, the new liberalism. He represents the pure capitalism. And then there is another economist that maybe you know because was Nobel Prize, particularly for the India situation, is Amartya Sen. Amartya Sen shared the microcredit, was fundamental in Southeast Asia, particularly a country like India, to grow the small economies. And this is financial sustainability. So we have to think also in the people that have not big investment, the opportunity to do big investment. This is, in my opinion, sustainability. Investing in sustainability is investing in the future. Investing in the future is meaning that you investing in something that will be more rentable in the future. So what I want to mean today, be prepared as a sustainability manager. Study, for example, the concept of ESG. Look, the majority of business, the majority of companies in Italy have not idea how they can create an ESG report. And who can take care about that? Who can share this experience? People with high level of education, people with postgraduate like you. This is meaning that invest your time and knowledge in sustainability management is fundamental because as there is a very good video from Leonardo DiCaprio that talk about the future climate change, the climate perspective. If the ecosystem collapse for the global warming, from whatever you want, it's completely unuseful to talk about economic stability or GDP. We have to find other indicators. One of that is the sustainability indicators, is the indicator of level of CO2. If our cities are not, the quality of life is very bad, it's meaning that one day we lose population, we lose people invest time and money in this place. So investing in sustainability is meaning investing in the future, particularly in the three sector: environment, social, and governance aspect. Fighting against corruption, fighting for the EDI, DI, diversity, equality, and inclusion. This is also very important for the reputation of a company. If you present your indicators and the good performance in sustainability, your company will have a better reputation. Better reputation is meaning more follower. Better reputation is meaning better perception. Better perception is meaning better income. So this is the answer.
Fantastic thoughts. I have a very interesting question, very apt question, I would say. On the ongoing geopolitical tensions, we are talking about the wars between many countries. You also highlighted about the geopolitical tensions. So the question is, how can entrepreneurs navigate geopolitical tensions when expanding into the new global markets?
This is another question that I really appreciate, because the other part of my training and life is about, I'm professor of geopolitics in also in University of Florence. That's not easy to reply, but something that I can see. I talk more for the economic perspective than the political perspective. But political and economy today are completely connected. So we cannot talk about politics if we don't mention economy. I studied political science and then I studied economy. So we have to understand that today the world is changing. Before we are connected too much, we are too much Eurocentric, Western-centric. Today the economy passed for other places, like the case of India, China, and the United States, that is still the first powerful country in the world, but really in terms of economy will be replaced very soon by other economies. They know that, and this is why they're starting to protect. But protect economy in a globalized world is not easy. Also, we are completely open thanks to the e-commerce. I can buy an Indian product today and tomorrow will be in my home. I can buy a Chinese product and tomorrow will be in my home, thanks to the new supply chain. So I think that the answer is not to protect. The answer is cooperate and not compete. If you don't cooperate, if you don't collaborate, and you just compete, your destiny is to not survive. Now, it's not easy to cooperate if you have common interest. But sometimes in geopolitical perspective, the cooperation, look the case of European Union, is hard, but also creates stronger perspective. Now in Europe, we are stronger because we unified some years ago. We have the same currency, the same economy, and we are stronger because we are small, but stronger together. That's the claim of the European Union, stronger together. So in my opinion, cooperate is the key. And this today geopolitical perspective is the idea of, I say Donald Trump, but the idea of many politicians is not to cooperate, is to compete again. And compete with soft power. Soft power is economy, for example. Soft power is tourism, is export management. The most important that we maintain the control of soft power and we don't jump in the hard power. That is the enemy, is something that we don't like. Economical world today is like the old world, because if you destroy an economy, you destroy the daily life of people, and this is meaning that we have to maintain the cooperation for the good willing of the planet. We cannot think on our neighborhood, in our border. We have to think that with globalization, borders are not so important. If you don't like, borders are a limit, are not an opportunity.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I completely agree with your point as well. The geopolitical tensions also not a great sign. What we all need end of the day is a good amount of peace. I hope that'll be there soon. This is an interesting question again, with a lot of people talking about AI, artificial intelligence. So the question is whether artificial intelligence will generate more jobs or it will take away more jobs. It will eat away more jobs.
No, it's taken. In my opinion, there's one of the most interesting questions that I receive every day. In my perspective, artificial intelligence is a new challenge, and as always, the new challenge that we face in our daily life are complicated in terms of to find the opportunity of this challenge. In my opinion, will be for the moment is an enemy of jobs. We can see this in this perspective, particularly for the old generation. But for the future, we can find information that will be an opportunity. And the most important is to be prepared, because this is a tsunami. And as all tsunami, we have to be prepared. It's a crisis. Crisis is not necessarily something negative, it will be something positive. And this is meaning that also can we find positive elements from this side? And sometimes we cannot see the perspective of positive elements at the beginning. The most important is to be prepared. So this is why, for example, we create new master degree in artificial intelligence and a new master degree, for example, in ethics in AI, because one of the most important issues is how we can use AI, not just what is AI, in which form we can use, which sector we have to limit, and if we limit, why? So that's the question that we reply.
Great. That's great. Well, how is that doing there in Italy? How is the trend of AI going there, the business domains? I'm sure it's in the next level. What do you say?
Yes, the trend of AI now, it's in next level is in Italy. Italy was one of the countries that limited AI at the beginning. So also the university were blocked. Now in Italy, for example, there is a trend that in also in the global the majority of master degree are focused also on AI. And this is why, for example, we have many elements related to the future of artificial intelligence is understand what is artificial intelligence and how we can use. In Europe, we have at the European level, we have the European Union AI Act, is the most important reform that we have to understand the use of AI, also the limits and the opportunities, the challenges. It's not easy because finally it's something that if we don't know what is this wave arrived to us without, we are not protected. And I don't talk about us, that we are involved in the everyday challenging studying post-degree school. I talk more about the old generation, the generation, the boomer particular, that are not too much connected with this world of job, and they will lose opportunities. It's a very complicated situation.
Well, that's great. We are coming to the fag end of the session. Indeed, it was incredible listening to you. I just want to have your word for my budding entrepreneurs. So what is that final tips or a message that you would love to give to the young entrepreneurs of tomorrow?
I mentioned since the beginning that it's important to respect our motto. So the importance is to be better manager for a better world. So to create future. And I want to leave that. So be better manager is not so it cannot be connected if we don't create future perspective related to be a better people. So manager today are human managers, and this is my goal for the future. Also, what I teach today every day to my students is be connected, and not that just with the sustainability. I talk about be better in our daily life as a leader, because if one day we will be good leaders, also we will have good company, good revenue, and our investment in people more than goods. That's my perspective. Thank you so much.
Yes, fantastic. So yes, we are happy to have completed yet another exciting session, I would say, and this time somebody from one of the most beautiful city, I would say, from Rome. And I'm indeed proud and happy to have hosted my good friend, Professor Valerio Mancini from the Rome Business School, Italy. I'm so very happy to say that GIBS Business School have recently signed an association with Rome Business School. And just today, I am happy to receive a formal acceptance from Mancini to be the editorial board member of the newly launched journal of GIBS Case Journal. I'm so very happy of that because his contribution towards research is something incredible. And I think we have the right person in place for us. Thank you for that, Professor Mancini. I'm sure we are going to have many more interactions and discussions on the varieties of topics in the coming days. We need your support always. On behalf of the GIBS Business School, the faculties, the management, the students, and all the audiences who were part of this session, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. At the same time, I thank all my students who were an active participant, who came up with some brilliant questions. Thank you so much for that. And please do not forget to like us and follow us on all the social media platforms. My special request also, please follow Professor Mancini in his LinkedIn profile. You tend to learn a lot of things. I'm a great fan of him. So yes, I'm sure you will be also. Thank you so much. And it was indeed a pleasure hosting you all today. This is Guru Prasad signing off for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. Thank you, Professor Guru, and to everyone. We stay in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.